Hey, you guys. Happy Aloha Friday. We got through this week together. I'm just so glad you're here. Thank you. You know, I should probably get a full moon chart going on here, but this was the Libra-Capricorn quarter moon last Saturday. Donald has the moon, Saturn, Pluto in the first house. Right now, the moon is at late degrees Pisces. It is going to move into Aries. And we would have a real switch in the energy as we move forward. Uranus is there in the fourth house, so something really unexpected will be happening at this full moon. Right now, the moon is here. Donald has Ace of Wands with a new op. Chariot, things are happening quickly. You know what I'm going to do really quickly? I'm going to add to this Tarotscope. I need to add Erdogan and I need to add MBS for the Saudis because Donald is making a lot of radical decisions this week that don't make sense. Most recently, pulling troops out of Syria, doing a 180, letting Turkey attack. There's rumor that Donald gave intelligence to Erdogan. There was a strike on an Iranian tanker in the middle of the night. I did a reading. It's posting right now. That traces back to Putin, of course. And now Donald is sending 16,000 troops to Saudi Arabia, the country that attacked us on 9/11 and murdered an American journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, etc., etc., etc. This is unspeakably wrong. The Republicans are just letting it go. Can you even believe this? I'm going to add them to the Tarotscope, and then I will move on with the reading. Okay, this is MBS. At the quarter moon, and we're just days away from this full moon, he started off this past week with an agreement. Two of Cups. His secret, his hidden enemies, 9 swords, causing a nightmare. Speaker Pelosi has that in her first house. So this seems like retaliation for me. You know what? Let me go back first. Let's look at MBS/Saudis and their agreements with the bad guys. So here he has 2 of Cups, an agreement. There are no other 2 of Cups, so he has an agreement. The closest thing there, I think, might be a 3 of Cups, but anyway. In his first house, he has the Knight of Swords. He's ready for fight. This could also indicate intelligence, but that Knight of Swords, intelligence, fighting, information, has been sent off to the 7th house against we the people of the United States of America, and Putin has that in the 7th house as well. That's a match. Moreover, MBS has the Ace of Swords. This is the op. This is what Putin had indicating the attack on the Iranian tanker. That's where that stops. Knight of Pentacles, MBS got some money. Or no, he's offering money. He's offering money. And coincidentally, in the 3rd house, I'll give you all you want. Donald in the 3rd house with communications, publications, neighborhoods. That looks to me like MBS, the Saudis, paid for perhaps some information to go after neighborhoods and communities. Knight of Pentacles. I think that's where that ends. 9 of Cups here. I'll give you whatever you want. Bearing down here at home in DC, the 4th house, defending home, he drew the 5 of Cups. MBS, knowing that MBS was going to disappoint the home base of the United States of America. In the House of the Sun, which represents dear leader President Trump, he has the Three of Swords, which means betrayal. Attorney General William Barr has betrayal on his ascendant. So Barr is expecting the betrayal. And here we go. In the 5th house of the sun, the president, he knows it's going to be with the Saudis, in my opinion. In the 6th house of work, service, day-to-day, investigations, intelligence, MBS Saudis had the 5 of Pentacles, which is destitution, leaving people out. He does not share that with anyone, but that's what they're working on, is this isolation. Ace of Swords, again, the 7th house, we the people. In the 8th house of other people's money, life, death, transformation, taxes, he drew the 10 of Pentacles, the Trump dynasty. So here we go. He's in the 2nd house of income. He's made an offer to help someone. In shared monies, he has the Trump dynasty. In the 9th house, lands far away, he drew the King of Swords. I assume this is Bill Barr since they have a common agreement here. And the King of Swords is handed off now to... Oh, actually, that Rebecca Mercer drew the King of Swords on the ascendant. So I think Rebecca Mercer had something to do with sending off something related to Bill Barr, far away, Putin, MBS, somehow. In the 10th house, public house, he drew the sun. In the 11th house of hopes, wishes, dreams, he drew the Queen of Wands, which is Speaker Pelosi, as did Putin. So their hope is to get to Nancy Pelosi. Okay? So when we overlay this with the good guys, MBS, his secret, hidden enemies, 9 of Swords, he's inflicting on Speaker Pelosi. She drew the 9 of Swords in the 1st house for this week for heartache because she knew it would be a heartache. The other things MBS shares in common with his Knight of Pentacles with that money in the 2nd house here, that goes over to Knight of Pentacles, Pelosi in lands far away. So Pelosi knows about the money. Here Donald and MBS shared. Pelosi knows who the Knight of Pentacles are, and that is handed off to 12th house of secrets, our intel and our allies. So I assume they know. In this 3rd house, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups, it's interesting because the United States of America, which also represents Trump, MBS drew the 9 of Cups in the 3rd house of neighborhoods, communications, learning, electronics. Well, the USA has 3 of Swords, betrayal, which comes over here to the 5th house. See how there's a common theme there? 5 of Cups stands alone. 3 of Swords is shared, well, that was shared with Barr. And USA and MBS, they both have 3 of Swords here with the betrayal. 5 of Pentacles, the isolation, destitution. MBS drew that in the 6th house of investigations, intelligence. That gets handed off up here, lands far away to intelligence agencies and our allies. So it looks like he has intelligence, handed it off to someone. Allies, I don't know if Turkey's an ally because it's NATO, but there's question whether or not Donald gave Turkey confidential information. Ace of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, doesn't connect. Knight, King of Swords, MBS passes this off to Pelosi, and the intelligence agencies and our allies also have the King of Swords. so they know what's going on here. Sun, Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands down here, the FBI knows, has the FBI is protecting Pelosi because they kind of know what's going on here with the Three of Swords and how Pelosi is being targeted again. So, so that's MBS. Let me get Erdogan. This is Erdogan. It's just as bad. On the ascendant for the United States of America, he had the Ace of Wands. He's taking action. That does not connect to anything, but here he sees himself as the devil. That's how he identifies himself. Wonder why that is. In the second house of income, he has Mother Russia. Curious that MBS has the Knight of Pentacles, which he handed off to, well, someone. Oh, Donald. MBS is in shared monies with Donald. So Erdogan's getting money from Mother Russia. And in the third house of neighborhood communications, publications, he has the Lovers. So in neighborhoods, it's Trump Russia is behind neighborhood information. In the fourth house of home and how the U.S. defends herself, he is just waiting for someone to answer the phone. What do I do now? In the fifth house, he sees Putin as the house of the sun for the United States of America. Erdogan sees Putin in charge of the United States of America. Think about that. In the sixth house of intelligence, investigations, service military, the United States is retreating. He sees the military retreating. The seventh house of We the People, I find it curious, he has the Nine of Pentacles here. This is Ivanka. She has towers that she coordinated in Istanbul. I wonder if Ivanka is going to get hit next with indictments, because this seems to be what's driving this Ace of Swords is what MBS had in the seventh house. The eighth house of other people's money, it's set up there for him to take. He's, I guess, just waiting. The ninth house, faraway lands, he has the sun, revelation. MBS had Bill Barr, and it's interesting because MBS had the sun in the 10th house over the United States of America. So both of them are paying homage to who really is in control of the United States, I guess. In the 10th house for Erdogan, what he sees is money. His 11th house of hopes, wishes, dreams, he has the Nine of Wands, which is tied into our allies, Donald's allies, and intelligence in the first house. In the 12th house of secrets, Seven of Cups. Nobody will know. But here, I wanted to show to you the King of Wands. Oh, that is what United States of... Oh my God, the United States of America has the King of Wands. Also, in the second house, so I guess Trump probably sees Putin in charge as well. Lovers, Four Swords. Oh, these lovers here, and that's 8 cups. Oh, but the lovers, Sun, Knight, Pentacles. I thought he sees, oh, so Erdogan sees money in the sky, and that is the secret. Impeachment. This is impeachment. He has the Knight of Pentacles in the 12th house of secrets or hidden enemies. So there's a connection there with Turkey. Oh, yeah, we've seen that. How about that? I think those are the only connections I was seeing. Let's get into some ratings. The quarter moon chart, I added in blue Syria and Ukraine. Syria is the top blue, the bottom blue is Ukraine. The top red is MBS, the bottom red is Erdogan. It's kind of hard to look at. The things that were really telling to me, MBS, of course, entered on the ascendant. What's giving him life is the agreements he has. And Erdogan is armed with the Ace of Wands and an operation. Syria has a Ten of Cups, their family. Ukraine is involved in secret talks. Now it's interesting because since Syria and Ukraine are on the other side of the globe, I was asking them when I was doing this Tarotscope, what does this mean for you? For example, in the first house of identity, with the quarter moon in Washington, D.C., what is your identity? And theirs was wanting to get away. 6 Swords, to calmer waters. Ukraine, their identity, 9 of Pentacles. Those are oligarchs. It's over here, Erdogan, with we the people in the United States of America, he drew the 7th house, the 9 of Pentacles. Sees us as wealthy, but I think this has to do with Ivanka. Okay? Syria sees the United States as having a really strong economy. Ukraine sees ours as one to celebrate from the 2016 election. MBS sees our economy as one to this should be Knight of Pentacles, as one that he can pay. He pays the United States. He offers the U.S. money, while Erdogan sees our economy as his means to unleash the devil. Syria and their neighbors and communities, they see it as the devil as well. They verify. Ukraine, in their neighborhoods, they see Queen of Pentacles, Pelosi being of support. 9 of Cups. MBS and communities, what they're going to do as an agreement. 9 of Cups with the Trump regime. And with Erdogan, he sees it all happening because of the lovers, Trump, Russia. In terms of defense of the United States of America, or in terms of self-defense and the United States of America, Syria drew the Queen of Cups, USA, really sees USA as defending her. Ukraine, they're kind of like, we're not sure. MBS is, we're going to disappoint you. And Erdogan's waiting for orders. Syria and MBS see eye to eye that what's happening in Washington is betrayal. I think they're happy about it. They are terrified. The 6th house of military, intelligence, investigation. Syria drew the High Priestess. Like, what secrets are going on here? As Ukraine sees our military intelligence as one to pay off bribes. The House of the Sun, Ukraine is not really sure who's in charge of the United States of America. Erdogan sees Putin is in charge of America. Is this Putin? Could it be Schiff? Putin. Syria sees themselves as trapped, the 8 of Swords. MBS sees this as an opportunity to unleash the Ace of Swords against the people. Syria, Ace of Pentacles, the world. This is really sad. Syria sees their world coming to an end because of outside forces. In the 10th house above them, in the skies above them, Syria sees money, just a routine. I wanted to know, this all started because I wanted to know why the heck we not only pulled our troops out of Syria, our allies, fighting ISIS, which now ISIS, they're not being patrolled anymore by Syrians because they have to run home and take care of their families. MBS, Saudi Arabia. Why are U.S. troops, 16,000 of them, being sent to you? Because of a fake oil tanker? MBS, Saudi Arabia. Why are... Because a deal fell through. We have to go after spies that turned on us, intelligence that turned on us. Something fell through. They're not going to achieve their goal, and it's like, that's why they think they have to defend themselves. Which way does this go? Okay. What was your agreement with the United States? Why is the United States sending you troops, Saudi Arabia? For our comfort and security. Because it's the end. Is this the end? Do the Cokes have anything to do with this? No. We need comfort and security because this is the end of the road. I think they think this is the end of the road. We had to take a different course of action because of what's happening so quickly in D.C. Erdogan had this too. Erdogan needed them to change because this is the end of the road. So send these people to... because of the courts in New York and Speaker Pelosi's impeachment. We have to defend ourselves. We have to protect ourselves, and we'll do whatever it takes to rally and go the distance to do it. They're so disappointed and dismayed and depressed that this is happening so fast. Well... Wah, wah. Too bad, so sad, thug. Live by the thug, die by the thug. That's what I say, right? Thug life. Okay. Gosh, I was just going to ask a question. Oh, there's my reading glasses. I didn't know where they were. Okay, continuing. This is kind of a hard one to do, you guys. It's a little complex. It feels a little bit out of my reach. But I know I'll figure something out, okay? Spirit, help me along. Jason. He's like, nah, I don't have anything to do with this. Okay, Jason, that's fine. Okay. Donald, why are you sending troops to Saudi Arabia? Because it's, oh my God, it's the end. Because he believes it's the end. He's like, I gotta get away. I gotta calm things down. This is crazy. So I need a war. And I'm just gonna pretend my way along this war one step in front of another. I'm just gonna talk out both sides of my mouth and just make up a bunch of BS about this. Because I gotta save myself. And he's got an agreement. Yes, he needs a war. That is why, well, we know he realizes it's the end of the game. MBS realizes it's the end of the game. Okay. Speaker Pelosi, Speaker Schiff, Nadler, Cummings. What do you guys know about this? And what are you going to do? What do you know about this decision of sending troops to Saudi Arabia because Donald knows it's the end, the Saudis knows it's the end, obviously then Putin knows it's the end, and then, oh, that phone call. I want to know what triggered that. Okay. Schiff, Pelosi. What do you guys know about Donald knowing this is the end and what's happening in Syria? You know, you guys are just kind of watching it. You know it. It's announced. This is step one. This is step one of what they know. Like it's happening kind of as they suspected or expected it with intelligence. So they're acknowledging it's happening. And this is the merchant. I'm asking you guys. They're getting a lot of feedback on the ground and intelligence on what's coming back. Allies on the ground. Allies all over the... I can't believe how much information is coming to Schiff and Pelosi. It's like what Trump and Erdogan and what's up is minuscule. I mean, okay, think of like, you know, like a giant sprawling, like super organized, like something you'd see on Discovery Channel with those ant colonies where they're all going and streaming in different directions and what they have to do because everyone has a job and they know what to do. But every once in a while, you'll see like a little team, like a speck, and it's just a different color, like red. You just see this little speck of something being randomly carried here and there. Those little specks of red something whatever is just kind of being carried out of the way or carried to some place to be eaten or disposed of. That is Trump and his cronies. You got that? So we have streams of information coming towards us. And as terrifying as what's going on with what they say they're doing and what's happening between Trump, Putin, MBS, Erdogan, all of them, they're just being carried away and they're too dumb to know it. They think they're being lifted up on the shoulders for celebration, but they are being brought to the dump and they don't even know it. God. Okay. So we know that. What's the challenge right now? Holding back the total devastation, disappointment, deceit, utter sadness for what's going on. That's a challenge because they have to keep their eyes on the prize. The base of this is a Schiff. Yes, Schiff is managing all the intelligence that's coming in. He is organizing all of it. If you want to think of like a mini Pentagon, or Schiff and the Pentagon, or Schiff and the defense, that's him. Is Mattis involved? Mattis is not in, he's on the perimeter. Okay, what about the acting Esper joke that's friends with Shelby? Oh, he's being carried by ants too. Okay, all right. That makes you feel so much better. What is crowning this between Schiff and Pelosi and what's going on? These, it's devastating. It's there's a lot of families having to pick up and run again. In Syria, just on the run, they cannot find shelter. They cannot find refuge, but they're going to keep going because they're just such incredibly strong people. They're burning out that they are carrying the world's burdens. I have the horoscope of this country, which will explain a lot. In the past, Pelosi shift. They have the intelligence of what was transmitted overseas, what was brought overseas, stealth, but they have the information. And that just brought about the opportune time, the timing to do what they've done this week and information they're getting from overseas. How do we see? Yes, whistleblower. It is Whistleblower Friday. Whistleblower Aloha Friday. Thank you. This is a whistleblower. Good news. This is how we see Schiff and Pelosi. The environment is the end as we know it. That song was screaming through my head last June, beginning of July. It's the end as we know it. I need to go recheck that date because what is happening right now is from that date. And yes, we're in eclipse. Click. Yes, because I think the sun is 20 is 18 Capricorn. And it's, oh, ooh. Yeah, we need to check that out. That'll be fun, huh? Okay, Schiff Pelosi, what are your hopes to get Putin? What's your fear? He's going to fall through the cracks again. The opportunity, it'll evade us again. So likely next steps are Trump Russia. This is no longer Mother Russia. This is Trump Russia. And final result, retreat. I don't know who's retreating. Card of the reading. They have an op. They have the intelligence. Okay. I understand if they have to retreat because they cannot act prematurely. It is agonizing to watch. What is this about? Four of Swords. Or do we just have to stay tuned until that? Yeah, I was just told you have to wait until the full moon to figure out what happens. So just stay tuned is what I'm being told. Stay tuned. Even though we get some clarifiers, we have to stay tuned. But I'm telling you, I'm feeling so much better than I was just even 15 minutes ago. There's that Ivanka again. Retreat. The Republican Party. News from Russia. The plans, the money, the resources, the goals fall through. Reap what you sow. I believe Pompeo had this. Knight of Pentacles. In these Tarotscopes, this has been MBS. But I also wonder about Pompeo. Who's this? Knight of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. This might be Pence. Okay, so this is our answer. We needed, oh, Seven of Cups. Now, Erdogan had this on the 12th house of secrets. So let's look at this just a little bit of because this is the end of the clarifier because we got what was being clarified. So Four of Swords retreat. They are retreating. Stay tuned until the full moon because there's something with oligarchs. Oligarchs, money, bills paid abroad, Ivanka. The Republican Party, news from overseas, usually this is tied to Coke. I'm guessing Giuliani. Giuliani's got his energy on this too. And things fell apart, and that's from the arrests of Igor and Lev. That was Ivanka. So okay, so there's two parts they're waiting. They have to wait and watch for. This is part one, which we've kind of wrapped up. And then after this came the Knight of Pentacles, and I wasn't sure if this was Pompeo, Pence. This is someone offering money or information or MBS. Money, information. I'm leaning towards Pence because he is definitely bound up and super depressed that he will never be president. The Five of Swords and battle, this means things have come to a total halt. Pence is at a dead end, and he's done. He has no more that he can give. Pence is done. Is this Pence? Yeah, so we do have to wait until the full moon. Two parts. One part is done. The second is developing right now. Well, all right then. I feel a little better. Oh, okay, you need to see this. Not that. This is a horoscope for the country of Syria, September 16th, 1941, 12:01 a.m. I find that curious because usually astro theme will not give you an ascendant unless they know for sure that's the time or pretty much verified. What if I've been talking about all summer? We've been talking about eclipses. We've been talking about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Saturn-Pluto conjunction are right here. Right there. And this country of Syria, their horoscope, their born on date, their birth, let me highlight the ascendant, is 15 degrees Cancer. This was right in between the eclipses from like right here and right here. Oh, and their moon is 16 degrees. They got eclipsed so hard. Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, and I think this is around the time Syria started having a lot of their problems. Their midheaven is 1 degree Aries, the lower heaven 1 degree Libra. The sun is right around here. Their midheaven, remember, this is the east. The sun rises, it reaches its highest point, and then it sets, but that's actually the city of Damascus. When the sun rose, it would like, the sun is actually over here, you know, and the earth rotates. So this is where Damascus was when the sun, quote, rose, because they could see it over the horizon. And so as the day went on, Damascus, facing 100% full face towards the sun, they had 1 degree Aries on the midheaven. Aries is the god of war. Aries has Mars in its dominion, so they will always be shrouded in war since 1941. And it's retrograde, so it's not strong. It cannot defend itself effectively because all that Mars energy is turned inward. When you have Mars energy turned inward, that's like having a battle within yourself and making you, I hate to say this, but kind of like exploding from the inside out from anger and all of that war. I mean, they're just consumed with it. It's so awful. And right now we have this Mars 23. Well, right now Pluto is 22 degrees coming direct in a hard square. I just don't know how we get out of it. I mean, it'll be better when Saturn goes into Aquarius, but that doesn't happen for another year or two. And for this to go into the 8th house, no, because Pluto's still gonna, it's just such a hard chart. But I mean, it explains why the Syrians are so strong and built for this, and why they're so full of home and family. I can't even believe how devastating this is. But they have Pluto, the planet of destruction, in their 2nd house of income. I would personally love to consult with Syria and just say, hey, can we pick a date and reincorporate your country so we can give you some strength back and mojo, because this is just not working. I would rather them have like Aries on the ascendant, so that would put the moon down here. It would put everything in their dominion, so that would be like 6 hours early. You know, if they would like maybe want to do that at like, no, we got to move this, you know, maybe like, you know, do it at sunset. Or better yet, do it at like, like 6 or 7 in the evening would be a good time to do that. In fact, on the 15th, 6, 7 p.m., what do you guys say? Do you know what that would, do for them? That would give the Syrians this. It would give them, on the ascendant now, they would have Mars in the 1st house, making them great warriors. They would have Saturn. They'd have Capricorn in the 10th. They would be able to achieve their dreams and their destiny and goals. They would have their sun in their 6th house of service. So they would have awesome intel, awesome investigation, awesome intelligence service. They would have the bestest food and farms and thriving crops. In here at home, they would just be like the model home. And then with Pluto in the 5th house, it would be a force to be reckoned with. Syria, I am dreaming in my dreams of incorporating you at, if you like this September 16th date, I want to reincorporate you that day at 7 p.m. This is the power of electional astrology. It is very important when you decide to do something and take initiative and make a plan. This is why people say, don't get married during Mercury retrograde because your contracts won't work out. Well, they can, but you want to know where everything is placed to give you the best optimal chances for success. This is just such a hard chart. So anyway, so that's that. You guys hang in there. Friday's almost over. Something's happening at the full moon. I don't know. Hang in there. We've gotten this far. We were meant to be here together. Okay? Thanks. Love you guys so much. So much. You are the bestestest evers.